some homemade pizza. So my recipe calls for 2½ cups of water, 3 teaspoons of yeast, 4½ teaspoons of sugar, 1½ teaspoons of salt, and 6 cups of flour. So we're going to start off with our yeast, and since we need 3 teaspoons, I'm using some yeast. I have 2 in there. So 1 packet of yeast equals, it says 2 1/4 on it, but I got 2 teaspoons out of it. I'm going to go ahead and get 1 more teaspoon. Nice. That's 3 teaspoons of yeast. And we need to get that going with 2 1/2 cups of warm water. You don't want to. That's 2 1/2. And of course we should wash our hands before we start cooking anytime. So big hand washing. So let's go ahead and activate that yeast. Let that get started. If we want, we could put a little dab of sugar in there. That helps to activate it. This is cooking with Carol, and you just put a little spritz of it in there. So then let's go ahead and get started with our flour. We need 6 cups of flour. And this would be great for the kids to do with you to help you count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just put our flour to the side for now. Our scissors and our yeast. And now let's see, what else do we need? We need 4 1/2 teaspoons of sugar. So let's pull our sugar out. Oh, we can use this. And really, the sugar could go in with the liquid. So I threw a little bit in there already. I'd say we threw a teaspoon in already. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3. I would say we put at least a teaspoon in. So let's just put a half in then. There we go. So that's going in our yeast mixture to help that to activate our yeast. 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. That can go right in our dough. This is a half. A teaspoon. Okay, we gave our yeast a little bit of time to start to activate. So now we're just going to pour it in with the flour and salt. And give it a little stir. Now, I have myself a KitchenAid mixer. Put it on lock and 2. So we'll go ahead and let that work a little bit. Nice to add while the dough is mixing is a little olive oil into our flour. maybe a couple tablespoons. So I cleaned up our surface. I let that go ahead and knead a little bit in the mixer, but I promised you I would show you how to knead bread or dough. So you have a nice clean surface and you drop your flour, your dough. Pull it out of your bowl. Have a little flour on your hands as well. It's always a good time to take off your rings if you have them on. And I can start by, I can already feel that this is a little sticky. So I'm going to add a little flour to it. So press down and then you fold it and you kneel it with your heels of your hands. And you just keep holding it, bending, really make it nice and soft. It's already starting to look pretty good. Fold it over. Fold it, press down. Go ahead and knead this a good 5 minutes. This is a great for the kids to do at home. Great way to learn to cook together. Make your own food. This is starting to feel really nice and have some pliability to it. So you see with a recipe like this, that would ask for 6 cups of flour. I probably dumped another, I would say half a cup on top when I felt how sticky it was. You want the dough to be workable. Your hands don't want to be covered in dough. If they're covered in dough, then it's too sticky. Kind of shape it into a nice ball. Coat it with a little olive oil. So it doesn't get hard. Now, I like to just grab a big pot. You can just leave it on the counter covered with a paper, with a towel if you like, if you've got a nice clean towel, but I like to just put it in pot and let it rise for a few hours. Hi, welcome back to Carolyn's Kitchen. So now it's time to make our marinara. It's been a couple hours and our dough is rising beautifully. So we're going to start with an onion for our marinara. Again, wash your hands before you start. And we're just going to cut an onion up here. In Lydia's kitchen, it's always pre-chopped, so I apologize that I'm peeling it in front of you. Well, we could be doing it together. You could pull your onion out and start peeling it. I'm just going to chop it in small pieces, keeping your fingers away from the knife's edge. My cans might be in your way. I'll put them to the side. Chop it up a little more, a little finer. You could ask me why I'm not crying, and I can't really give you a good answer. For some reason, this onion is not making me cry. Okay, so I have a cast iron pan here. I'm gonna put some olive oil in there, bottom of the pan, dump my onion in there. can't have marinara without garlic. Let's see if I have a couple of nice pieces of garlic still. Okay, so we're back. We got 3 nice pieces of garlic. And you just use the knife edge to get that, comes out of the skin real nice that way. You get the flat side of your knife, press down, pops right out. And if you don't have a garlic press, then you would just chop it finely. But this chef has herself a garlic press. So we're going to load it up. And this is a nice job for the kids as well. Just press it in there. One more. Load it up. Press it in. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the stove behind me. We have the garlic, onion. You know what, while we're here, we might as well add some salt and some pepper. Once we get the tomatoes in there, we'll add some of the other ingredients. So I'm going to put that on medium. I'll let you take a look at that in a minute. And we'll open up our cans of tomato. I usually use crushed, but today I happen to have a diced as well, so I'm going to use 1 crushed and 1 diced for this marinara. I know everybody has their favorite tomato, so whatever tomato you like to use. Take that off. I'm going to go ahead and kick that up a notch. So I'll show you, I'm going to add basil. This is my fresh dried basil from my garden, and parsley. And for marinara, for pizza, I forgot, you have to have oregano. So it's the main 3 ingredients are basil, parsley, and oregano. So we're going to go ahead and saute that. Okay, the onions and garlic are cooking up nicely. It's time to add our tomato. I do have it on high. You can turn that down. Okay, we're going to add some spices. Okay, it's time to take a look at our dough. While the marinara is cooking, it's a great time to pull out some of your dough. Let me show you what it looks like in the pot, how much it expanded in that 2 or 3 hour time period. So, just going to pull out a section, which I think should be enough for a pizza. Usually 6 cups makes about 2 to 3 pizzas. So as you see, I floured my work area. I'm just going to put a little flour right over top of the dough. And I've been using the rolling pin lately, and it's making it a little smoother. So we're just going to work the dough to a square. I'm going to use a cookie sheet for the first pizza. Keep it nice and long. Now I have also put the dough right in the center of a greased, with a little olive oil and flour pan, and just used my hands to work the dough out to the sides. So I can show you that version as well. But first we're just going to get a little, and it's always good to start whenever you're using a roller pin on the outside, on the inside, working your way out. Helps to lengthen it. Okay, that looks pretty good. So here's our cookie sheet. Let me go ahead and stir our marinara, make sure that's doing well. Smells very good. And I know we're probably going to get questions. How much basil? How much oregano? How much parsley? And I know you saw that I just dumped it in there. So basil, I would say a couple tablespoons. Same with the parsley, and probably a little less of the oregano, maybe a tablespoon of that. But if you try that and you don't like the taste, just add a little more. So here's our flour. We're just going, so we put a little olive oil on the pan and just a little flour so it won't stick. We're going to take our pizza dough, keep it from, oh yeah, that looks nice. And we're just going to work it in. And I actually rolled it a little bigger in the pan, which is surprising. So that's perfect, really. And so while this pizza's in there, what I usually do while I wait for everything to settle, I find a nice kitchen towel and you just place it over so it has a minute to rise. Maybe I remembered I had told you that I would show you how to work the pizza dough without a rolling pin. So here's our pan all set and ready. Here's a nice piece of dough. And we're just going to pull it out, pressing with our hands, acting like your hands are the rolling pin. So just use your hands, work your fingers out, roll them. And this dough is really got a nice texture to it, so it's really stretching nice. So you don't need a rolling pin, you don't need anything fancy. This is fun for the kids to press their own dough into place. If you get a little hole, like right here, just fill it in. Bring the two pieces together. And once you have your pan pressed, again, you just grab a kitchen towel, a clean one, and cover your pizza for about 10 minutes. So while the marinara is cooking and the dough is rising for the second time underneath the kitchen towel, we're going to grate some cheese. I usually use part skim, but you can use whatever you'd like. This is mozzarella part skim. I also use, show you a couple. I also use fresh mozzarella. That's yummy. And I'll be using roasted peppers for one of my toppings. But the kids could decide what kind of toppings they want. Black olives or green peppers, mushrooms, pepperoni. There's really no limit to the amount of toppings you can have on a pizza. Now the kids even do, a lot of the young people do chicken with barbecue sauce, or I think I've seen even cheesesteak pizza out there. So you can really do anything. So once you have your cheese grated, it'll be time to put the pizzas together. So be back in a flash. So it's time to put our pizzas together. We'll start with the marinara. Pop it right on there. So I don't think I had mentioned before what you should bake your oven on. Your oven should be on bake 425. And I always put a tray at the bottom and one at the second shelf. So not all the way at the top, but one all the way at the bottom. Second from the top and the bottom. And about 15 minutes in, you can switch them. So you'll put one pizza at the top, one at the bottom, and then you'll switch it. So it's a nice amount of marinara on there. And we're going to go ahead and take a couple handfuls of mozzarella And again, this can be part skim or whole, depending how much fat you need in your family. We're going with the part skim here in this house. And then a pecorino romano, or grated cheese, we like to refer to it. And just sprinkle that all around, nice amount of cheese. And this pizza, I'm going to go ahead and put my roasted peppers. Now these I roast in the fall and then freeze them, so they've been defrosted and then diced. But you can use fresh vegetables here as well, or canned mushrooms. You can cook some frozen spinach and then put that on top. That's delicious as well. We got a cookie eater over here. Sorry about that. Okay, so this pizza is ready for the oven. I'm just going to pop it in all the way at the bottom. Okay, and we just pulled the pizza out of the oven. That's the roasted pepper. And that's the plain cheese. Bon appetit!